Once there was a prince named Rustam went for a walk in the forest. To his surprise, he saw many dwarfs coming toward him, all looking very sad. None of them were wearing the usual long crooked hats that dwarfs are known for, and their heads were completely bald. Their heads looked as if they were boiled eggs without shells. Among the crowd of dwarfs, one of them was wearing finer clothes than the others. The prince asked, "Who are you, and what is your problem?" Hearing the prince's words of sympathy, the dwarf king's eyes filled with the tears, and he said, "We are dwarfs from the north. I am their king. We are going through a big problem right now. As you can see, we are in a terrible state." The prince asked, "Tell me, what is troubling you?" The dwarf king began to explain. "We were out for a morning walk in the forest. On our way, we met a sorcerer who appeared kind and benevolent. He invited us to his home in the forest, where he gave us some toffees to eat. We all ate one, thanked him, but then you wouldn't believe what happened to us." When the prince asked him to explain, the king continued, "As soon as we ate the toffees, our hair began to fall out, and our heads became completely bald, like eggs without shells." The king started crying uncontrollably, and seeing this, the other dwarfs also began to cry. The prince, confused, and asked, "But didn't you ask the sorcerer to return your hair?" The dwarf king replied, "Of course, we asked him, but he said we would need to give him gold coins in exchange of our hair. I don't even have 50 coins. You are a prince. You know how much it costs to be a king." He started crying again, shedding more tears. The prince reassured him, "Don't worry, I will help you all get out of his trouble. I will go to the sorcerer right now." Hearing this, the dwarf king cautioned, "Prince, you must be very careful. The sorcerer is very tricky. Don't let him make you bald, mute, or deaf." At this, the prince smiled because he knew a secret that the dwarf king did not know. The secret was that no magic could affect the prince because a wise old sorcerer had anointed him with the fragrance of flowers on the night of the full moon, making him immune to spells. The dwarfs gave the prince the directions to the sorcerer's house, and he soon arrived at the door of the sorcerer's house. Seeing the prince, the sorcerer greeted him with a sly smile, saying, "Welcome, welcome." The prince replied cheerfully, "Your house is beautiful. You are very fortunate to live in the open, fresh air of the forest." The sorcerer proudly said, "Of course, but would you like to see the inside of my house? I have many amazing things inside that will surely surprise you." The prince thanked the sorcerer and entered his house. The sorcerer seated the prince on a chair and went to a cupboard, where he took out of a box of toffees and brought them to the prince, saying, "Here, take some toffees. They are very tasty. I bought them from an old sorcerer's. I am sure you will enjoy them." The prince knew these were the same toffees that had caused the dwarfs to lose their hair. Still, he politely accepted one and ate it. It was indeed very delicious. The sorcerer watched the prince closely, but when he saw that the prince's hair didn't fall out, he was very surprised. Suddenly the prince stood up, clapping his hands in false excitement and saying, "I can now understand things no one else knows. I can hear the grass growing. I have mastered all the languages of the world." The sorcerer, shocked, screamed, "Really?" "I think I gave you the wrong toffee." As the prince danced around joyfully, he shouted, "Give me more toffees, please." "I wouldn't give you more toffees. I will eat them myself. I had no idea these toffees were so powerful." He greedily grabbed the toffees and ate them. Afterward, he waited for the magic to work, but instead something began to fall from his head. Yes, it was true. The sorcerer's hair began to fall out in clumps, just as the dwarfs had described. The sorcerer cried out, "Oh no! I ate the wrong toffees. I am becoming bald just like the dwarfs. How will I go out for a walk in the evening? I need to find a spell to get my hair back." After reading a spell, the sorcerer shakily said, "I need to make some mixture, and you must pour this mixture on my head to make my hair grow back." The prince took the bottle and waited for the sorcerer to start counting. As soon as the sorcerer closed his eyes to begin counting, the prince rushed to the dwarfs and said, "Quick, sit down, close your eyes, and start counting to 99. Then I will pour this mixture on your heads." The dwarfs immediately obeyed, and as they counted, the prince poured the mixture onto their bald heads. In no time, their hair grew back and they were overjoyed. They gathered around the prince and asked him to come to their king's palace with them. Just then a loud noise came from the forest, like a furious wild bull running toward them. The sorcerer appeared, his eyes flaming with anger. He shouted, "False prince! You took my mixture and ran away. I was waiting with my eyes closed for you to pour it on my head, but instead you poured it on the dwarf's head." The prince laughed and said, "I didn't do anything wrong. You were the one who made the dwarfs bald, and I just fixed it. Here's the bottle. Maybe there is still a little bit of the mixture left." The prince threw the bottle, and the sorcerer caught it. After struggling, he managed to get 2 drops of the mixture and poured them on his bald head. Only 4 long hair grew back. The sorcerer was furious, but had no choice but to accept his defeat. On the other hand, the dwarfs were very happy, and they were enjoying the situation, and they went back to the north to their homes very happy.